Jamaica is a safe, secure, and seamless destination. We pride ourselves in those three S's.
Okay.
Safety, security, and seamlessness.
A mention of the country of Jamaica has the ability to transport people. The stretches of sun and sand dotted with palm trees, the scent of jerk chicken cooking up on the grill, and Bob Marley's tunes. A complete treat to the senses. A destination perfect for adventurers, leisure lovers, foodies, honeymooners, and just about any category of travelers. The onus of the uptick of Jamaican tourism lies on the efforts of our guests on today's show.
Jamaica.
Best decision ever.
Feel the sand between your toes and the gentle waves of the sea on your skin. Feel the warm Jamaican breeze lift your spirits and nourish your soul. Escape to exactly what makes your heart beat. You will love every moment. Jamaica. Heartbeat of the world. Let's go.
It's my pleasure to introduce Honourable Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism, Jamaica. It's so great to have you here with us.
Thank you so much. And it really is a wonderful opportunity to greet our brothers and sisters in the beautiful continent of Asia, and more specifically in India. And we are excited about the connection because there's so much history between us, so much history. And so many Jamaicans have Indian origin. It's amazing.
Yeah. So today, I understand that Jamaica is going to be celebrating its National Day at Expo, and it's starting today up to the 18th of February. So what are the events that we could possibly look forward to in the coming week? Can you tell us a little more about that?
Well, we have a whole series of events, starting, of course, with engagements with our trade partners, tourism trade partners in particular, and investment community here. We will be engaging the Chamber of Commerce and a number of the giants in industry. But specifically on the 17th, we will be launching the first ever Global Tourism Resilience Day. And with that, we'll have a forum looking at, resilience and sustainability issues, investment as a key element of sustainability and, of course, resilience. So we're bringing together in that frame the top leaders of the world of tourism. More than 7 ministers will be participating in a panel. We have a number of women in resilience and tourism, very strong women, led by the president of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourist Association, who is a woman, the Minister of Industry and Tourism of Spain, who is a woman, the head of PATA, that is the Pacific Asia Tourism Authority, who is a woman, and a number of other outstanding ministers who are ladies from across Caribbean and Europe. But we also will be having President Kenyatta of Kenya as a main speaker, along with the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Most Honourable Holness, also as a speaker. The event will have endorsements from the OAS, from the World Travel and Tourism Council, from PATA, and it's expected also that the Secretary General of the UN will send a special message. So it is a very strong, event that will be. Then we'll have a number of MOUs that will be signed from other countries that have now become part of the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management center. Jamaica established that center in 2017. And since then, we've had a number of other centers in Kenya. We've been discussing with Amman to sign in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, in Greece, in Bulgaria, in Botswana, in Nigeria, in Ghana, and in Canada. So within the next 3 months, there would be at least 12 countries that would have global tourism resilience and crisis management centers. The 18th, of course, of February is the Jamaica Day Expo, and that will be featured with, again, a number of very strong discussions on investments. Jamaica will be on show. Our music and entertainment will be at the highest peak. So it is the day for all of Dubai to come out to be at the expo and to really indulge and enjoy and embrace the Jamaican culture in its fullest, especially in terms of our music and entertainment.
Yeah, for sure. I'm wishing you the best of luck. I hope you'll have a very successful, fruitful week ahead.
Thank you very much. It's we are looking forward also to opening the gateway to not just the UAE, but to North Africa and to Asia, with particular reference to India, China, and Malaysia. So this visit here in the UAE has multiple fold objectives. And a key objective, of course, is to get air links between Jamaica and the UAE.
Wow, okay. That's very nice. So can you tell me a little about the global outlook to tourism in Jamaica?
Well, Jamaica has been recovering very strongly from the impact of COVID-19. And if you recall, most countries of the world sunk into a moment of absolute despair, with many feeling that they could never recover. Jamaica went from 4.3 million visitors annually to zero. We went from earning $3.7 billion to zero. And we also went from employing 170,000 people to just about 30,000, which would be enough to just keep the plants going and to prevent mothballing. So within a year and a half after, we have recovered to 70% of our 2019. We've earned for the country a little over $2 billion. And the good news beyond everything else is that we've brought back 80% of the workers of the industry. So our recovery has been very strong, much stronger than the recovery for COVID, because we have made the critical decision that we must maintain a balance between health, and the well-being of the people. So the economy had to be saved. And whatever else we do, we had to make sure that we save our health and save our economy.
Yes, I think treading that balance is really important. That's what really matters. Yeah. So
critical to it all has been the way in which we have managed this whole process. The protocols that were established very early. Because we have the Resilience and Crisis Management Center, we had a sense of these things. And it's funny that we established this center. It was prophetic. It's almost as if we knew that a pandemic of nature was coming. But because we know that tourism is a highly vulnerable industry to exogenous shocks and to global disruptions, we sought to prepare not just ourselves in the Caribbean, but the rest of the partners in the world, to build capacity to handle these disruptions when they come. So early after the COVID-19 virus was made known to the world. Even before the pandemic, Jamaica had established a crisis management team to look at it. And by March of 2020, when the World Health Organization announced formally that we had a pandemic, Jamaica was ready to establish a recovery team. So we had a recovery task force that had the job of building out a very robust set of protocols. The truth is that within a month, we had 385-page document with protocols covering 29 touch points. And the World Travel and Tourism Council recognized Jamaica's effort, and we became the third country in the world to receive the Safe Travel seal of approval from the WTTC. So by June of 2020, we were able to open our borders, and we have not closed since. And I think that's been the part of the secret of the success, is that we've maintained an open border, notwithstanding managing this infection level. Our death rates have been extremely low, and our hospitalization has been equally low.
Okay, and that's great to hear. I mean, we don't get reports like that from any other part of the world. Like you said, this must be a secret, and it's working for sure.
It is because the protocols were recognized and embraced very early, and we've stuck pretty much to it. Notwithstanding the fact that our vaccination levels have not been as high as other countries, because of the availability of it, and also because there was a level of hesitancy on the part of many, especially that social media. I'm not blaming social media, I'm only saying that because of the proliferation of views on the issue of the vaccine, several persons took a negative position to it. But the good news is that if you embrace the protocols, you will be able to manage the risk much better. And that's what we were able to do.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah, so you're the founder and the co-chair of the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center. So can you tell me a little more about this initiative? You said that you set it up in 2017. And then can you tell me a little bit about this entire initiative and what has been the work? Obviously the COVID-related efforts, but other than that, anything else that you would like to highlight?
Well, we began, first of all, with the knowledge that, as I said, tourism is highly vulnerable to exogenous shocks and to global disruptions. We recall that there were, in the last 50 years, 4 major global disruptions, starting with SARS. Then we had the 9/11 terrorism incident in New York. Then we had the global economic meltdown of 2008, and now the global pandemic, the likeness of which the globe has never seen, the world has never seen. So it's out of the knowledge also that tourism is a highly resilient industry, and that it bounces back faster than all other economic activity, and therefore it is the perfect response to quick recovery. So the problem, however, is that countries that are least resourced and are highly tourism dependent are at huge risk of recovering fast. We had a case in our own space in the Caribbean when we had 2 hurricanes, the likeness of which we had never seen before. It destroyed the economies of a few countries who have not been able to recover to now. Then Haiti, our next door neighbor, who is one of the poorest countries in the world, had 3 mega earthquakes, one measuring 10 on the Richter scale, which was huge, and destroyed much of Port-au-Prince, the capital. And today, 10 years after, they have not recovered. So we needed to find a formula to empower nations and people to firstly recognize disruptions when they're about to happen. Secondly, to mitigate against it. And thirdly, to manage the disruptions when it comes, to recover fourthly, and to recover quickly, and then to thrive after recovery. So those are the factors that gave rise to the establishment of a center, a kind of institutional framework to bring data together, to bring academic rigor to bear on establishing, best practices, and to document, and then to look at how do you communicate to the world when a disruption takes place in your space. The accuracy of the information that is provided, the authenticity of the reports that go out, and then the rescue operation that must follow, to ensure that the recovery is as quick as possible. So it's a whole range of both academic activity as well as practical application and the mining of data, relating to best practices elsewhere that we need to bring to bear so we can guide our tourism communities, especially, as we said, the highly dependent regions of the world that are hugely vulnerable to whether it be climate events, or it is seismic events, or it is terrorism, or now cyber crimes, and economic disruptions and political disruptions, So all of these are factors that prevent people from traveling and prevent people from exchanging political and other information, as well as economic exchange. And economic is critical, So we feel that a great service is now being done to the global community by establishing the center. But we also wanted the centers to be in the universities so that it would avoid the impact of political considerations or the change in administrations and a philosophical position by a particular political group, as the case may be. We wanted to avoid that, and that's why we put it in academia, in universities, so that the rigor that is required is there. But more important, the consistency, and the unlikely interference of any kind of political groups or parties or governments. So now we have the Jamaican Center, and then we have a Kenyan Center that is responsible for East Africa, and we are about to open one in Amman on the 20th of February for the Levant countries mainly. Then we have the Riyadh Center to be established. Then we have the Nigerian, the Botswanan Center, the Canadian Center, which we are opening shortly, Barbados, and we are looking also at Greece and in Spain. So within the next 3 to 4 months, there will be about 12 other countries that have resilience and crisis management centers focusing around tourism responses.
Very beautiful. That's nice. I think it's always better to be, prepared for worst case scenario.
Especially that they are happening. And now the events are taking place with more frequency and with greater ferocity in a lot of instances. We're seeing now earthquakes happening in places we've never seen before, and at a level that is highly destructive. We're also seeing tsunamis and more extensive typhoons and hurricanes, and now volcanoes are happening with frequency in places now in a manner that is far more existential in its nature than previously. We are seeing, the other day we had Tonga, we see a lot of it taking place in the Pacific area and in the Indian Ocean, so we know. We just had one in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the Caribbean, that hadn't happened in 100 years. So we have to look to how to respond and manage, and to enable the reduction in the loss of life and property and economies.
So you've been involved in the Jamaican politic and tourism sector for over 40 years. I'd love to know what was it like growing up in Jamaica, probably, and what are the changes that you've seen in the country as you grew up? So the country that you grew up in versus the country that you represent now. What are the biggest changes that you can point out?
The changes are, in other words, there have been sea changes in the way that we are versus how we were. For one, I think the education system in Jamaica has really matured and grown. We've seen literacy levels increase significantly, over the period. Then the institutions, we've seen economic and social transformation in a number of areas. And one of the strongest examples of transformation is the tourism sector. We've seen sleepy little fishing villages being transformed into bustling centers of commerce and economic activity. Yes,
you're the reason for that.
With jobs created and the social and economic conditions of the people significantly improved. We've seen infrastructure expansion and development, proper highway systems established. Technology has played a huge role in this development and transformation over the years. I mean, I've watched, we move from ordinary cablegrams into now, Zoom, the technology where we're talking to people miles, millions of miles, thousands of miles away, as if they were next door. A good example of what we're doing right now. where we can be together apart. So Jamaica has come a long way, as I said, from cablegram now to broadband, where we can have access to communications like we've never had before. We have also seen the growth of our economy, where the systems that we have over time, we've improved transparency, we've improved efficiencies in so many areas, and Jamaica is now a really strong and powerful place to do business, to live, to rear your children and grow your families, and also to enjoy. You can have a lot of fun in Jamaica, So we've come a long way, and I've seen it all, over the period. Yes.
Wonderful. I think the increase in tourism, I think you are surely someone who's played a very major role in that, because you've held this position for how long, if you can just tell our audience?
Well, I'm a little over 10 years. I've been minister, which really puts me in a unique position, as perhaps being the longest serving minister in any portfolio area in the Caribbean. And certainly in the case of tourism, perhaps arguably in the world, as tourism ministers are among the ones with the highest turnover rate.
Could you share what could be the reason why?
Oh no, well, I think one of the reasons is that in Jamaica, there's a little more stability in terms of the political system. And, if you are deemed to be doing well in an area, they try to keep you there. so that perhaps might be the answer. Yes. So I think we've been able to develop a good team and a great relationship with the sector. And that partnership is vital in enabling good results. You must be in great, harmony with your partners, because tourism is a partnership business. It's in fact, as we say, tourism is a series of moving parts that must come together seamlessly to create an experience that people enjoy and consume and will pay for. So it is that seamlessness that has to come about, and it can't be done by an individual. So there's no minister who is able to say, yes, I did it. it is really a teamwork. It is that confluence of different parts that must come together.
You're just being very humble. I think a good leader is very important to the functioning of the entire system.
Well, I believe so, but remember, there is no leader without followers. So if you have good leadership, you must have good followership.
That's beautiful. I love that.
So that's the whole point. And so if you're lucky enough to have good people around you, you will succeed. And I think I have been lucky. Yes.
That's wonderful to hear. I think, that's really something to take home. Can you tell me if I go to Jamaica, what's the one thing that I must do for sure? I think you're the perfect person.
Well, let's put it this way. If you come to Jamaica, our food is our delight. So for Jamaica, it's food, and of course it's music, and it's entertainment, and we have the finest people in the world.
Okay.
So the major attraction in Jamaica, the iconic attraction, the people. We have a sense of hospitality second to none. And I could assure you that you will enjoy the interaction with the Jamaican people, because we believe in each other, and friendliness is a part of our being. So if I'm inviting you to Jamaica, I'm inviting you to enjoy the people of Jamaica.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah, I would assume that in the tourism sector, there would be a lot of competition. I've noticed that Jamaica always, though, tends to stand out. So I'd love to get your insights on how you've managed to consistently do this. Like, especially in the last decade, people are hearing more about Jamaica. We know about Jamaica. We're aware of it, and we want to go there. So can you tell me how you'll manage to put up this?
Well, first of all, we come back to the people. And it's about training and developing their skills, and their ability to pivot and to respond to the varying different cultural, and ethnic strains who come into our space. But I think also because we ourselves are a confluence of all the ethnicities and cultural groups. I indicated earlier on about the Indian strains, but the Chinese, the Japanese, the Koreans, everybody, the Indians, the Africans, the Europeans, all have a part in the Jamaican mosaic. So that our motto is out of many, one people. Because there's a little bit of everybody in us. And you see that in our food, you hear that in our music, and you would see it in our art. And when you visit us and you move around in our architecture and our designs, it's all there. So Jamaica is that melting pot where we have no sense of race, class, color, or creed. We are inclusive, and we make everybody feel happy and homely because we think that we ourselves are a composite of everybody else. So the competition in our space, we don't look at in the traditional sense. We see it more of collaborating. We see that, for example, in the Caribbean, where our neighbors are, we are all of this similar product. We have common cultures, we have common expressions, and we all have sand, sea, and sun by and large. So, we all love music and great food. But what is the point of distinction? The people. It is our people who, again, differentiates us, and the way we make people have a feeling of love. We call it the Irie. It is a undefinable feature and characteristic of ours that you can only get when you come to Jamaica. You can only experience when you come to Jamaica. When you leave, you take so much of it with you. That it abides with you forever. So Jamaica has the highest level of repeat business in the region. 42% of all the visitors who come to Jamaica have visited more than once.
Wow.
Develop relationships with the citizens. They come back asking for the names of people. They come back asking specifically for a worker here and a worker there. And some have even invited them to be guests in their own homes and so on. And of course, you know, that several have also taken partners, so Jamaica has extended itself in the marketplace far beyond the products that we have. It is a deep and abiding relationship that has established us as separate and unique in the Caribbean space. And I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of that. Jamaica offers more experiences than, I'm allowed to say this, than all of the Caribbean combined. We have more attractions in Jamaica than all of the English-speaking Caribbean combined. So, you know, we pride ourselves in building products against the passion points of people. So we know people travel to fulfill their passions. So our job is to build products around these passion points. So when you come to us, you know that there's a little bit of us there waiting for you.
Wow. That's beautiful. So this is something I've noticed on most of your interviews and most of the articles written about you. A very consistent theme is that your discussion is on empowering the tourism sector, but also by empowering these people that you talk about, because you obviously have a love for the Jamaican people. So your focus is on empowering them. Can you tell me a little as to why this is so important to you and why this is the leading factor in, you know, your discussions mostly?
Right, because tourism is about ideas. It's about how do you convert ideas into material goods and services that people consume. Tourism is a highly consumer-driven activity. You know, that's what people travel all over the world to do, to consume cultures. And to enable this to happen, you have to build the source of this culture. And the source of the culture is the people. You know, it is the people's ideas that got converted into these experiences that we sell. So if we train and if we build capacity, we'll be able to get innovation. And it is the innovation that makes us separate ourselves from the rest of the market. So people visit for new things. They visit to find out what's different, what's new, you know, what's exciting, what's exceptional. And it only comes if you have a highly trained and efficient people. And that's why I spend time and resources building institutions that enable the empowerment of people. So we established the Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation. And that entity ensures not just that you are skilled, but it certifies you as being skilled.
Oh, wow.
And that certification enables you to have mobility within your space and portability outside of Jamaica. And that's one of the reasons the Jamaican worker is in such great demand. So we just create more and you create more, and it gives you that sense that your people are accomplishing, and it helps to build a labor market arrangement that puts the tourism worker at a higher end of the spectrum. And it's difficult to do because tourism workers generally are regarded as casual workers, because you know, it has never been that you create, you know, vocational arrangements and you train at university levels for tourism until most recently. It is most recently that the discipline relating to hospitality became part of the university curriculum, right? But we have recognized that to professionalize the industry, you have to certify.
Right.
When you certify, you can then classify the work. And when you classify, you can remunerate against the classification. And that changes the market, the labor market arrangements. And so that's what we're doing in Jamaica. But we're doing something else with them too. We are establishing innovation incubators.
Okay.
To encourage ideas, new ideas, to monetize these ideas, and to provide resource support to enable the transformation of ideas into material goods and stuff. So we're saying that there's a new skill set that is required for this fourth industrial revolution that's taking place. And that tourism is going to transform in the years to come, influenced greatly by the Internet of Things and the whole digital revolution. So we have to now prepare our workforce to respond to it. And lastly, we think that there is need for social protection for the worker. And so we created a social safety net through the first ever tourism workers pension scheme. And that allows not just workers who are confined to established entities like hotels, and airplanes, services, aircraft, and airports, and so on, but to the ordinary entrepreneur, the little guys who are self-employed, the craft vendors who sell, craft items and couriers and so on to the visitors, to the people who service at the airport by way of transfers of the visitors to different places with their little taxis and so on, and also for the ordinary guys who really move your luggage. We call them in Jamaica red caps.
Oh, okay.
So this scheme is the first of its kind that embraces all categories of workers within the industry overall. The second feature of it is that it is legislated. So it is the first scheme in the entire country that is a creature of parliament. So it is a compulsory participation. Everybody who works in the industry. It's a joint arrangement between the worker and the employer. So by law, the worker contributes 5% at max, and the employer contributes 5% also of the wage. Then the third feature of it is that the government has put in $1 billion Jamaican dollars in the scheme to enable a group that we call the augmented worker. That is those who are 59 years old and who would only have 5 to 6 years of contribution to the 65 years that is the limit before your pension kicks in. To enable them to get a pension that is equivalent to a contributor who started at age 18 when they began working. Now that is a unique feature. I don't know anywhere else in the world where that arrangement is in place, where someone could contribute for 6 years or 5 years and end up with a pension equivalent to that of anyone who had been there for 25 and 30 years. And so we think that this is a very important feature simply because we are late in the day to get this pension act together for the workers. And I had an experience which gave rise to that decision. Every year at about the middle of December, we start what we call the winter tourist season. And we go to the airports and have lunch, breakfast with the workers there as part of the motivation. Because as you know, the airport is the first point of contact that the visitor has with the destination. And I went and I saw these, what I call the handlers of your luggage. We call them red caps in Jamaica. So I saw a gentleman who told me afterwards that he was 78 years old. And he was pushing this trolley, with the luggage at 78. So I said to him, why are you still doing this? And he said, well, if I don't, I will not have anything to eat at home. And I said, so how long have you been doing this? And he said, 48 years. And I said to myself, something is wrong with this picture. We have to do something about it. And that's how the pension plan was born in Jamaica.
Wow.
And we're very proud that within 5 years after that, we now have a very, very comprehensive, world-class safety security net for the workers of the industry.
Very nice. That's actually a very heartwarming story. Yeah.
So there you go. It's training, it's empowerment, it's classification, remuneration, and social security net.
Very nice. That's beautiful. Okay, so I'm guessing you are someone who travels a lot. So what is the one thing about Jamaica that makes you homesick? When you're out of Jamaica, what makes you homesick?
Food. The Jamaican ackee and saltfish, the jerk chicken and the jerk pork. Yes? No, the Jamaican food is delectable and it's unique. Believe you me, no matter where you go and you eat, you never ever lose the taste for Jamaican food. When you visit, you will know what I'm talking about. We had a campaign call which says, once you go, you know. Once you go to Jamaica, yes, you know exactly why we are such an infectious people and why it is that you have to come back home. And the repeat business I spoke about, all there. So, it's just the Jamaican warmth, the friendship, the feeling. I declare that Jamaica was not made in the 7 days of creation. That we were created on the 8th day.
Okay.
When God had seen all that he had done, and he regarded his handiwork with great joy, but saw something missing.
If you had to say one sentence regarding Jamaica, what is that one sentence?
Well, Jamaica is the place to live, to rear your family, and to retire.
Okay. Very nice. Okay, is there anything that you think that we may have missed that you would like to add? Any message for our audience?
Well, the message is the invitation to come to Jamaica and to experience a little piece of paradise.
I'm going to search on Zomato for all the Jamaican food places.
I'm inviting you. You see that you with this finger? I'm inviting you specially to come to Jamaica and to be like this. And you can then extend to the rest of your audience the similar invitation, and I'll be there for them. Let me know
for sure.
Whenever you're ready. There's Jamaica waiting for you.
Welcoming me with open arms. Looking forward.
Indeed.
It was wonderful speaking to you, sir.
It's great to have spoken to you, and just to let you know, and everyone else, who are in our audience, that Jamaica is a safe, secure, and seamless destination. We pride ourselves in those 3 S's.
Okay.
Safety, security, and seamlessness.
Very nice. Looking forward to visiting Jamaica someday, hopefully soon.
No, sooner.
Sooner.
Okay, wonderful.
Approval from the Minister of Tourism. I mean, what else do I need? I've got an invitation.
Absolutely. No, I tell you, it's only your fault if you don't come.
We have to hurry up and come to Jamaica now.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Yeah, we look forward to having you back on the show for sure, and learning a little more about Jamaica.
Nothing like being there and being able to make you feel really the joys of our destination. Yes. So please let us know whenever you wish to come, and we're there for you.
I'll check for tickets.
All right.
Immediately.
Okay. Very well.
Okay.
Bye now.
Fun.
Good. Thank you.
Take care. Have a great day.
Feel the pulse, feel the vibe, feel it in your heart.
Sunshine smiling warm up inside your heart. Feeling of pure love, oh Jamaican heartbeat. Dancing to the beat up inside your heart. Heartbeat of the world, oh Jamaican heartbeat. Jamaican heartbeat.
Jamaica.
Can you feel it? Jamaican heartbeat.
Love it.
Heartbeat of the world. Beyond compare. Nothing like it anywhere. Share, eat and drink. We move and dance with you. No matter where you are.
No matter where you come
No
from.
matter where you're from. Join in the party. You're welcome.
They laugh,
You're
smile.
welcome.
So me say greetings, welcome to one and all, to the land of scat, reggae and dancehall. There we go beach, river and waterfall, and we have a lot of party when the night fall. Hold a vibe, eat something with a drink in your hand, rum beer, jerk chicken, roast fish, yellow yam. Them say we beat unique, so every boy, every girl come to Jamaica, the heartbeat of the
You got me
world.
going.